I think there's so many different interpretations of what it means.
When I first approached this, like the ego and that voice in your head that you're talking about, that kind of playground, I remember shaming myself for like, because I wanted meditation to be a place of just no thought, because I thought that was the ideal, and that's what was you were like going for, is just to have calm mind without any intervening like ego, and just being. I thought that was always the goal of meditation, and that's always what I strived for. And then I've also heard perspectives where it's like, no, it's about having the awareness, watching your thoughts, watching the tendencies, like observing the links you have in your brain, in your psyche, that what triggered this thought to that thought, why, where is your mind going,
like a car moving.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, where is your mind taking you, what does it want you to be aware of, kind of. And then I've also had this perspective of meditation where you can use prompts and tools, sounds, visuals, breathing techniques that can stimulate a calm mind, guided imagery and symbolism that you can meditate on. So I'll meditate on a color or a region of my body, and I find that so that is my thing, because then whatever comes about is and then that goes along with the chakras, because it's okay, well, I'm having this issue, I can focus on this area of my body, focus on these elements, and these kind of modalities, I guess, or principles. I don't even know the right word. I don't know, I just find that way more helpful. And then when I was in there, I was kind of back to the form where I was okay, I was in this space where I was no thought, I was focusing on this posture, and then I was that's not really where I am with my practice anymore, that's not really how and I'm not that it's right or wrong, but it's just interesting that I've created my own relationship with it, and it's not where I started, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah, and that idea of no thought is also another word that gets used a lot in meditation and Buddhist practice is emptiness.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a concept that can be a little confusing, because that what does that mean, no thought, you're not thinking?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's this, it's something that one has to wrap their head around, that it's not about no thought or not thinking. It's actually seeing, being one. Oh God, it's so hard to explain that. Like literally being with your thoughts, almost as if they were like a river. Our thoughts are, when are actually we're looking at a river apart from ourselves, but when we meditate, we actually become the water. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a marriage between this kind of, it's almost controlling the machine that you are, it's taking back the controller and not controlling it, but just having guidance and being supportive of what needs to happen, whatever that your body needs to be going through or processing, and just being okay, I'm supporting this body, these thoughts, I'm sitting for it almost, I'm the watcher. I'm taking care, kind of, and I don't know, just almost studying it a little bit, I guess. Where with this guy right here, or not, Chinrezi, and then zoom out, and if you started with starting in on him and then kind of zooming out, just to get a full perspective. So chakras, oranges signifies the second chakra, which is which governs emotion and fluidity and duality.
Orange is saffron, the monks have their robes dyed with saffron. So it's kind of a traditional color for monks. Not only Buddhism, I think other ones too. That's kind of, so I don't know that it's, but it's just, monks usually have saffron robe. And now the dark purple is kind of a Buddhist thing, that kind of maroon color. Yeah, all these colors, they all have all these things. Every little squiggle on these tankas have meanings. It's almost like a story, because these all these different tankas use them for educational purposes, and people were literate. So instead of having, it's like in Catholic churches they have all these murals or all these stained glass windows. So they teach you about what this meant, and this is the way for you to remember. Instead of having it written down, since they didn't have books, because they didn't really have, people couldn't read.
So color as codes for memory.
Yeah, colors, all the little details, the drawings, you know. This is a pretty simple tanka, but some of them are really elaborate. I mean, I've seen some fancy big ones.
You said tanka? What?
Tanka, that's what this art form is called. This kind of hanging pictures with a frame around them and all that stuff. It's called a tanka. And it's a Tibetan art, which is really religious too. They don't have art for the sake of art. Art is really a mean to transmit some teachings, you know. So it might look like somebody's idea of how to make it beautiful, but it's really about meaning that's behind it. It's like an educational tool.
Bye.
You too.
Oh, my cushion.
You have your own. You have your own cushion.
Lighter for some reason. I left my cushion in there.
I guess some people have their own cushions.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that actually.